All right, Marty Coleman here, doing a little video race Hydra analysis for Jody on Arista. So let's kind of go through this a little bit and see if this pans out here. So one of the things is just never really standing up as a helmsman. Always be seated in the boat. Just always good, even if it's light air to heavy air. Always do the same thing. So really don't like the standing up part, and just need to sit down and stay seated for that. Tacking through here. There's something I like to call the triangle, which I think is very important. Is the helmsman needs to see the bow, he needs to see the instruments and the tails. The crew on the rail needs to be sitting farther out and just not blocking the instruments. Always during racing, during pre-start maneuvers, people on the rail make sure their shoulders aren't in, even downwind and upwind and all of that stuff. You don't want to be just kind of right in the middle of the view. Helmsman needs to see the bow movement on the horizon, the tails and the instruments. And that's kind of a crew thing. Can't see time and distance here on the box with the person in the middle. So the helmsman, the main sheet, jib trimmer should be all getting used to the Velocitech time and distance. Stay seated, always stay seated. Just get comfortable. Let everybody else move their weight in. A couple people should have gone to the leeward side there. Remember, this is a dinghy and it really likes to respond to being pushed around with weight. And we'll talk about that, but really need to just be seated through this whole. And again, not looking to leeward, looking at your time and distance. Doug will manage the boats around him and be able to articulate what kind of mode you want to be in with what the fleet around you is doing. But it looks like you're in race mode now. But you can see here, shoulders are in, blocking your view a bit to the bow to get a sense of what the bow is doing on the horizon, which is kind of what is being pushed up or down. So just make sure, rather have a person or two to leeward and have the rest of the people sitting out so you can see. So we're going to look at your hand placements from side to side and just being consistent with how you drive. I really like how you drive on port tack. This hand tends to come up a little bit more, I've noticed. Another thing is in the lighter air, you can go ahead and slide forward a little bit. Even in heavy air, just want the crew weight to be compact in the middle of the boat as much. So you can slide right up to Doug, and there's the traveler sheet that you can get right next to so Doug can still grab it and ease it. And so you could be at least another butt forward there. And Doug needs to slide in and out just to make it a little bit easier for you. Along with the rest. And remember the triangle, tails, bow on the horizon, and speedos, the three things you're looking at. It's a triangle circle. Pause this. Okay. Another thing is, as a helmsman, you want to wait. Right now, you've stood up and turning the boat. Now you've paused in this position. Rather have you stay seated to turn the boat. And then once the tiller starts to come back, that's when you hop over, you get to the windward side, and you find your landing zone. Really like to see you stay to leeward a lot longer, and we'll see that theme consistently. So you're paused here, and now you're also looking at other boats. You need to trust that Doug's going to take care of the boats, that you need to be totally focused on hitting the tails and building speed. Right now you're not even looking at the tails. Now you're back up to the tails. So see that? That's Doug's job to make sure he lets you know you're just going to come out of the tack as fast as where you're on the tails and you're building the speed back up. Doug will then call for a duck or another tack coming in there. See, and now the boat's not going fast. Maybe you could have crossed if you came out of the tack just on your tails. So again, focus as a helmsman always on your tailtails unless you hear otherwise from the tactician. I'll let you see. Bow's still down low here, still trying to get the bow up, still trying to get the bow. Very long turn up. Very long turn up. Still kind of looking around a little bit. Really need to just focus on getting the boat right back on the tailtail. That was probably 2 boat lengths lost there. Just with that transition of not hitting it out of the tack and then ducking and staying too low too long. Another thing I like to see is Doug go down and load the leeward winch for the trimmer. This way the trimmer doesn't have to come in as early. He can right now, next time he kind of goes down, loads up the leeward winch. This way, less time the trimmer has to be off the rail here. Speed this up here a little bit. So here, let's look at your arm placement here. Very relaxed, right on your arm. You can see the movement here, very nice, very controlled, and this will be really nice in waves and wind and just really, you know, being locked in here and being able to push the boat around when you need to. We'll look at the other tack. We're on the other side here a little bit. Now we're in miles per hour, so not too much of a, but it just gives us a gauge here. Doug's checking, it's good. It's just to make sure, a little bit more in. Having jib marks, all of that, I'm sure is all sorted. Deck marks and sheet marks, exactly the same, tack for tack. Very relaxed, right on your, very good, long term. You know, keeps you from getting tired long term. Holding your hands up, very relaxed and good posture. Again, right here, see how you can see the bow, you can see your tailtails and speedo. That's what you need to be seeing the whole time. You need to be able to see the waves. You need to be able to see the bow movement, tailtails. Very nicely done here. And we'll talk about weight movement. Really need to roll the boat. Crew needs to learn how to roll the boat here in the tacks. Coming up to tack here in a minute. Okay, so we'll watch this. Watch, and I'll tell you when Jody should leave sitting down on this side here through this tack. Still seating, still sitting, should be still sitting, and right about now should hop on over. And the crew needs to be just needs to roll the boat. Nobody's rolling the boat. Nobody's rolling the boat. Everybody, the whole crew should stay over here except the trimmer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just stay over here. Stay over here. Stay over. Stay to leeward. Stay to leeward. Stay to leeward. Keep staying to leeward. Keep staying to leeward. Jib fills. Stay to leeward. And then you press the boat flat and you pick up speed. So really need to work on the roll tacks there. See how your hand's a little higher now? Just up. It's just not laying a little flatter on your thigh there. Just a little bit higher. Don't know why, but lock it in on your thigh a little bit would be a little bit better. And again, now you can't see your waves, so just getting your, exactly. These guys really need to be on it. So these guys can be out and this guy can be in, and the weight management's the same. But they just need to understand that, so you don't have to ask for it all the time. See your hand's just a little bit higher, and we'll see it on the other tack too. Slow getting off the side, making sure your hand movement on the tiller's the same. And what I like to do is leave this hand on the tiller. Your right hand will grab here as you come across. And I think somehow it did a little differently last time. So we'll see if we can see. We still got a ways to go for the tack here. And then move forward, get your weight forward. Keep the weight in the scrunched together as much as you can. Coming up an attack here. Still need to stay seated. And see how you switched hands with the tiller? Let's back that up a little bit. Tiller should stay behind you in the tack. Should stay in your left hand, and you grab the right hand grabs the front of the tiller and you swing it over and step over. So we need to work on that just a little bit. Be consistent side to side. I think I saw a couple where you did it with keeping your hand. See how you switched? Keep the tiller behind you so it's in front of you when you come over. Tiller should be in your right hand still. And again, weight and movement. Everybody needs to be lured until now and then squish the boat down and accelerate. Okay, getting ready for the mark here. So again, never standing up, never standing up. What needs to be happening is you need to be sitting here and Doug's going to say, good angle, good angle, good angle. And you're just going to go straight until he either bears off or you see the mark come down the side of the boat. But always be sitting, stay to windward. This way, it's just in bigger breeze, it's just is the best technique, is always to be sitting to windward. And that's what you want to do, and it's still good techniques. Main comes off. Doug will say down 2, good angle. He'll give you an angle so you don't have to come to leeward. Really don't like the whole moving to leeward. You'll come down here in a minute, and yeah, just stay up there and have Doug just keep talking to you on your angle, and I think you'll be good. Good getting the clue out and tack out. All of that's really good. Really happy with the set here. Just remember, hand over hand, really good there. Getting the jib out of there as quickly as possible. Boom. Good. Trimmer, spin trimmer really needs to sit down. I know Doug and I briefly talked about that, but this is really kind of won't work very well in anything but super light air. So getting the trimmer just sitting in here right in front of the winch in light air, and then he'll move behind the winch and put it on in super heavy air. But really needs to sit here. Look at your tail and shroud in the front of the kite. So just move them back, have them sit right here, and it'll be all good. Jib change. Got a little ways to the jibe here. Same thing on the jibe. Really want to stay seated really until the boom comes across and then go. Prefer you just, again, you'll be walking uphill just usually a little bit, but rather have you have the boom come across and then go, and then that'll help you get your exit angle also. Play this out here. Really nice pulling the sheet behind the shroud. This is really nice. Doing a good job there. And just not, you went in front of the tiller this time. Again, always behind and stepping over, having your third hand on it, or having your hand, one on the tiller, one on the tiller extension to balance you in heavy air. Just needs to be the right technique. Sitting down, finding the right angle, getting people in front of you to be cleared out needs to be a priority for the crew. They need to be thinking about not just sitting in the cockpit, but actually forward and to leeward, getting your guys out of the way here a little bit. But definitely sitting down. Fracculator. Do you have a fracculator? Fracculator should be pulling the rig forward and snugging it up. You can see how everything bounces around with the forestay being that loose. You put the jib halyard on a little strop and crank it up to tighten the halyard, which pulls the rig forward and keeps it snug. So you need to get the fracculator on in light air. You don't use it in anything over about whenever the jib's up, obviously in about 7-8 knots. Again, just sit down. Just always be sitting down. No reason to be standing up. Your bottle's wiggling. You're wiggling the tiller. Just really need to be planted down. I think you guys come in and just do a left turn here. And so one of the things, you really can't see the mark. You're kind of in the middle of the boat. And one thing you want to do is that you got to get the exit out of the leeward mark needs to be tight, which means when you're heading to the mark right now, you should be about a boat length and a half to the right side of it. So when you turn, you're tight and on the wind when you get to the mark. And you'll see here in this that you're not particularly close to the mark. So right here, so you got to be, it's better to be even farther down. And you're coming in at it, where it's just going to come down the boat, and you'll see that you're just too close to the mark. You should be pointing over here a little bit more. When the kite comes down, you can reach and gain a little speed. Instead, you're going to do a hard turn here, and you're going to be low on the exit. See, now you're still turning. You're past the mark, and you're still turning, and still turning, and still turning, and still turning, and still turning. You should be at that angle as the mark goes down the side of the boat. A lot of people in the way here need to be a priority. They need to know not to get in your way in your vision of the waves, of the bow. So just need to work on that with the crew. Long time. Took a long time to get sorted there. And look how much lower we are than the other boat out there. So let's back this one up a little bit and see your placement. Got to be sitting down. Got to be sitting down. Yeah. Keep your hand behind. Right hand holding the tiller extension. The left hand grabs the tiller, and you walk over this way on the other side. You're in the right position, and it's easier. There you go. He's getting out of the way a little bit more, and you'll be good there. I'll go through my notes here. Cross the same. Look at your tails out of the tack. Hand placement. And I'll put this in a document. Roll the boat. Crew shoulders out. Slide forward. Traveler near the traveler line. You could be much more there. Even go more. Go right to that cleat every time. Every time. Let's watch that one more time. Look, everybody's in your way right now. They need to stay out until the boat starts to move. Look how everybody's paused on the rail. They need to just be waiting and then go at the last second. Didn't know you're going to be looked at so hardly in this race. But here, you can see your waves. You can see your forestay on the horizon, tails. That sight right in here is the triangle. That's very important. Important for you because keeping the boat going fast at a higher percent of the time is better than the guys that aren't. And that's really the key, is just to keep the boat going. Jib right on the wind exactly. Very nice, just nice and easy, very smooth. Windier it gets, wavier it gets, you'll have to move a little more. Don't look around, look at your tail, look at the turn rate of the boat. Really important to be watching that. A little bit slow maybe. Weight's got to stay down until the jib fulls, and then you flatten the boat. Same stuff. Okay, here we go, get ready for attack. Heads down there. Concentration of the helmsman is just paramount. It's the hardest thing to do, to be totally 100% all day long. Careful. Now you came out, and now you're luffing a little bit. It's a little hard. Looking up here, though. There you go. Nice. Weight management needs to happen a little bit more with these guys. Now they're right. See how they're all right in your way? Get two down. Now you can't see, so they block. So get two guys out, another guy below. Actually, you can stick people down below, too, if you wish, in this light stuff. Very relaxed. Very, very nice. Very nice. See the pause here, looking around. We just gotta keep focusing on just the boat, just eyes on the boat. Come out a little bit thin there, push down. Boat speed's still pretty forward, hasn't come up yet. Boat speed hasn't come up yet. Just now starting to come back up. Really hard in that light air. You guys get tacked. Yeah, so bad air, and then you gotta do a double tack here, fortunately. Didn't quite make it. Yeah, got a little hung up there. And then not sitting down, not quite getting on the wind. And then staying to leeward. Not a fan. Stay up here, have Doug tell you the angles. Okay, that's it.